We are live and streaming on Twitter. Who knew? Who knew that was a thing? Not me.
Well, I didn't. When you told me to do this last week, I thought you were joking, but you're here we are.
So it is about time that we got together. I mean, we're together all the time. We speak all day and all night. But I thought it was about time that we got together and told our Gaia learning hybrid school story and how this sort of 2022 mashup has come together. So hello everybody, if you join us, we are streaming on lots of places across multiple channels. Kirstin, we've gone, like, have just thrown us into the social media pot, and I'm sure we'll make some sort of TikTok dance out of this at some point as well. But we're on my Facebook page, on Gaia Learning's Facebook group, and on my LinkedIn profile as well, and on our new hybrid school YouTube channel.
Didn't know we had one of those.
That was what I was about to tell you actually before we came on. I was like, oh, by the way, I've set us up a YouTube channel and we're streaming to it. So there you go.
Nice. And I geographically am in Salisbury in the UK. I have put away my kids' dinner and
yeah, so it's online and in real world. So you're in Salisbury and I'm in Nantwich in the northwest. So we are miles apart, yet we have managed to achieve so much with such a great distance between us. So this video is going to get sliced and diced and we can use it on different social media bits. But let's start with, we've been telling everybody, we're doing lots of teaser stuff on LinkedIn and we've got videos of us playing cups. Do you remember when we did that?
Well, when I finish this drink, we can have a go at cups.
Cheers. Well, let's say cheers. Cheers to Monday. What is in your glass?
Actually, it's a Nantwich gin, which I might have been persuaded to get from you. And actually, the story of how I met Kate was in her very engaging live LinkedIn, Facebook community forums.
Yes.
Lockdown.
Yeah, about what? A year and a half ago, I think we met. Yes, the gin link. So if anyone doesn't know, I run a business called Sip and Share. There goes, branded glass, which is a gin club. So the gin and tonic, I think I put on LinkedIn that we might be having a wine, but gin and tonic has taken precedent. So we met about 18 months ago. Why did we meet, Kirstin? What was happening?
Well, I was in the process of rebranding the more tuition business that I had at the time, gearing it towards accreditation as an online school. Didn't really know what I was looking for, but I knew very much that community was going to be important in that. And I am very keen to reinvent and reimagine what education can be. And to do that, actually having to step outside of the mold of traditional people who might have had their entire careers through the education system. Yeah. So really looking to branch outside of that. And Kate had a very successful brand and presence online. And I kind of sent out a help for branding marketing. I've got a message, I just can't make it clear enough.
You put a post on LinkedIn. So, and anyone that, uses LinkedIn, which is hopefully everybody, knows that they have job ads and all these different things. And you put a post out saying, I need a marketing, I think you said a marketing generalist. Whatever it said, it made me go, okay. I watched a video of you. I can't remember what you were speaking about, but I watched a video of you and I'd not long done my TEDx talk. So I was really kind of connected to passion and purpose. And we were homeschooling because it was COVID. So it was all this kind of like perfect mix. And I saw I'm going to do this, babe. I'm going to do job ad, right? I'm going to do job ad. I saw you.
I prefer that to cry for help, but all right.
Job ad. And when I like what she's out to achieve, I like her mission. I can help her translate that vision globally. There's something here. She looks awesome. And then we had a call. And I think it was like 3 PM, I think, drinking a gin and tonic, sat in the kids paddling pool. And we just got on and we went, yes, this is so exciting. And we went from there, didn't we?
Yeah, I think then introduced you to the original founding team of Gaia, who also were an eclectic mix of digital nomads who were traveling all around the world. Lauren from Sri Lanka and Paul as well.
Yeah.
So other very enthusiastic, young, visionary people who came from different backgrounds. So Lauren's a professional singer. Paul had a startup in prebiotic drinks. He was a chemist creating all of that. So just really different perspectives on how we could set up something to really revolutionize and shake up education. And as you say, feet in the paddling pool, trying to homeschool our kids. I was mid-divorce and a whole lot of other really difficult things that we were having to navigate alone at the time, and just looking for the right kind of community to bring together to make something extraordinary. And here we are.
And here we are. So we knew that you had Gaia Learning. It had a previous brand called Jovely, and you were doing tuition. You did lots. You have done and still do, as part of a wider team, tuition with families overseas, across the UAE, loads of kids across the UK between 5 and 18. But the thing that, and my background is that I'd worked in apprenticeships, and actually one of my first jobs on an apprenticeship was delivering training to an apprenticeship program to young lads, 16 to 19-year-olds, who many of them were vulnerable, so did have special educational needs and were struggling. And that was, how do you engage them on an apprenticeship program when they really don't want to be there? So I think that's what I saw in what you were doing. So Gaia Learning, we rebranded from Jovely to Gaia Learning, and then over the past year we've got Cambridge accreditation, so a Cambridge registered international school online, now offering the full curriculum for 5 to 18-year-olds online across the world. And like, our inbox is so interesting, isn't it? Like, this sort of diverse, you know, we won't give away any names, but the diverse portfolio of people who we speak to, like TV and film producer who is famous, through to psychologists in different parts of the world, all who have children who are either need alternative education or have special educational needs or neurodiverse in some way, and we'll talk about our families as well, or are traveling around the world and with their work and need to take their education with them and their qualifications and believe in the British education system. So to get to Gaia Learning to where it is now, talk a bit about the special educational needs angle and neurodiverse angle, which is becoming increasingly relevant across Gaia in the past, like really, really relevant in the past 6 months. You've been doing it for ages, but it's really kind of honed in. So tell us a bit about that and how that came about.
Yeah, so I have 3 children who are currently 13, 11, and 9. But it was very obvious to me when my first son was probably in the womb and then very young that he had ADHD, and I was so reluctant to accept a label for him or to draw attention to difference. I found it very challenging to parent him, and I had obviously 3 children under 3.5 at the time, and in trying to avoid the label, I realized that I could help him to learn to be happier in learning, to reduce these symptoms that were not so desirable in a traditional system if I allowed him an environment which was far more play-based, interest-based learning. I would theme the weeks around what he was passionate about. And then as he got older, recognizing that he needed something more personal, which is far more expensive if you go down the independent or private school route, but it absolutely suited him. He needs to move his body, he needs to climb the trees, he needs to be running around doing sport, and in that kind of environment he is a hero. His symptoms are celebrated, he's a champion. When you try to box him into a class of 32 and sight smells the the sensory issues, the sounds, all that become very, very intense and overwhelming and problematic for him. So in a lot of that journey, I became very interested in how I could support other kids like that, and then also using the online version. And when people said there's no ways you can engage kids online, I took that as a bit of a challenge during COVID times, and ended up educating groups of 6 to 12-year-olds whose schools hadn't got into gear ready to put anything meaningful online. So that's when we were putting on classes to do with the sustainable development goals, and getting these young kids to come up with solutions to these big real world problems about disease and poverty and energy and education, things that are still on our agenda right now. And just the creativity and the energy and the active communication that they were able to do across the country. And then we had kids joining from different places in the world, and it was so exciting and energizing. And we recorded everything we were doing, we learnt from each other, and it was really exciting. So it wasn't just that, this sort of private, exclusive, independent education that is so unaffordable for so many families. I wondered whether I could make that something that was more accessible for more families across the world. And
go on.
No, well, just saying that what's brought it massively up to speed recently is just also, I think, the sort of personal growth for myself as a mum and a family, and single parenting, and just the accepting of the really difficult stuff, is I finally had this kind of reached a point where I think all this online information now helped me to realize that it was me that had ADHD too. So I have been building a school that is more suitable to myself as a learner, as an educator, and so it was for my child, for myself, and I've realized a lot of people need this. So
you've recently had an ADHD diagnosis, and you've been and still on a massive, I'm going to say journey in a cheesy way, but like we've talked loads about this. I think I love this. I love you. I love us. And I don't think anybody understands the extent to which we know each other's world and our challenges, and how this is Gaia learning, and then hybrid, which we'll come on to in a minute, is an absolute purpose driven, it gets me a bit angry. We fight for it, because we talk about our children all the time, and we obviously know each other's kids really, really well. And everything you're talking about through lockdown, we didn't know each other through lockdown. We met June last year, and I was really struggling to educate Poppy. And at the time, she was going through massive anger and emotional issues, really struggling with concentration, on the days that school was open, kind of refusing to go into school. And we still have that. I talked to the teacher in mainstream school this morning about her huge anxiety and school refusing, and all of these challenges that we're facing. And so it's been a bit of a, I don't mean perfect storm, I mean a perfect mix for the two of us, hasn't it? Because I nearly called you babe then, because you're my bestie. I realised on LinkedIn. Don't tell him. It's just all come together. And I think everything you had done with Gaia, and all of that experience, all of my experience in starting the mental health platform and the tech stack there, and the TEDx stuff, and the community through Sip and Share, it's like the world, and I know we both believe in stuff like this, but kind of brought us together and has made us go, right, what are you going to do? You've had a challenging year, and I'd say the you as in the royal you have had a challenging year. What are you going to do with this thing that you've created? And so we've got Gaia, which is now a Cambridge registered international school online, and is going from strength to strength, and it's had amazing feedback, which I know we can't share properly, but we can share that we've been compared globally. I don't think we can't share, but we've been compared. I'm just going to say it really straight. We've been compared globally, and it's amazing.
And we're good. we've had validation. I think that is
Yeah.
what it is having what we've built validated by experts in the field, that that it's not just a personal passion, that is meaningful. And I think this coming out of lockdown has been really important, because there were so many families who were locked down in lockdown, so many just even in that story I just shared about not wanting to tell anybody else that, you know, my son was different or had difficulties, or just how much we were struggling with that. The danger of not sharing, the danger of not having a community is hard. And what I think this allows, or has allowed us to do, is connect with more people, share our stories, and find a safe place. So for me, the mission in setting up alone, going at alone before I met you and connected with the team, was that I had to find an income stream to support my kids alone, and also to educate them in a way that was really important to me. Education has always been so fundamentally important to what I believe freedom is and can be. Just no one can take that away from you. So I think, yeah, sharing the story and bringing the community.
The community in so many ways. I mean, you've got an amazing network. We've both got brilliant networks of kind of contacts on LinkedIn and friendship groups. And I think the community, and we've got big plans for it, but the community we've got on Facebook, even if, you know, engagement levels vary, right, as they do with any community group, but just to be able to share the personal experiences that we're going through and encourage other people to do the same thing. And it really pulls the tech and kind of the big mission into reality, because when you are, you know, both my kids are in mainstream school, and she's off, she's thriving, she's chilled, Poppy is a different story. And being able to share, especially on the outside when it looks so picture perfect and it looks, you know, it can look so easy, to be able to share that actually it's not that easy and it's quite difficult. And there are times, you know, she's had sessions with the tutors at Gaia, and actually if we just lift the lid on that a bit more and share, like what we're doing today, that those challenges do exist, but there is a solution, and this is what Gaia is. And I think what makes it really special for me is the absolute clarity with which we see the challenges and the solutions and how they fit together. And that applies to hybrid school, which is our new venture that owns Gaia. Hybrid is, you know, you said it, say to everybody what you said to me about, you said it before, but you said it about 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, about Gaia being the first for hybrid.
Yeah, so the vision for Gaia, and maybe I should just also talk about the meaning of Gaia. And so Jovely was the original, GEO for Earth, and VLE, a virtual learning ecosystem. And that, we can talk about the ecosystem part of it, which is more hybrid school and flexi school, the platform we've built. But I, as a trained geography teacher, if we don't have a planet to live on, if we're not protecting our resources, if we're not living sustainably, there is no point to education. If our young people don't know what it is that we need to protect and how to protect it, I feel very passionately that is number one. But Gaia is an earth science hypothesis where all organic and inorganic components on the earth, if left to their own devices, would self-regulate and come into balance. Applying that to education, I believe that we have to put it back into the hands of the learners, the parents, the educators, those subject experts, to rebalance what has kind of gone wrong in education, certainly in the UK, where I personally believe that there is too much emphasis on exam factory learning, that is not equipping kids with the skills that are relevant in today's workplace. And yeah, we need to get it back into kids' hands. So everything that we do on the platform is listening to parents, listening to kids. And I know, like you do, firsthand, that if we do not have a platform, an app, a curriculum that is engaging to those kids, that we can't do our jobs. We can't earn money. We can't feed them, like quite literally. And I think that really differentiates us from other online schools in the market. Not just that we're female, but that we're literally on the coal face of parenting and single parenting. And I do apologize if anyone can hear my 3 children having a very loud, fun wrestling time right above my head.
I wish that was how you always described what the kids were doing when we were on calls together. And actually, everything you've said about with regards to Gaia fits with, you're really, really good at looking globally at challenges and solutions, and it fits with the work that you've done with Be the Change, which we need to do. Let's do a thing on it. Let's do a thing on Be the Change and the Sustainable Development Goals and all the stuff you've taught me, and when I've watched you work with kids online has made me go, oh God, Christ, she's clever. Look at her teaching kids in the UAE or building a program for Qatar. And we're talking about the regionalization of geography to them, so it is relevant to them, done in a way in their language, written in Arabic. Like, what? So when you said that, go on, do you want?
And maybe I can actually, sorry, just go back to your original question of the link then between Gaia being the first of our hybrid schools. It's been the first proof of concept. It's been our prototype to get that personalized, that brand, that heart. It is our heart that we have tested our tech stack on. And it from a geography perspective, place still matters. Schools will always still matter. Community is fundamental. Online learning does not mean sticking kids in front of a screen and letting them go. The contrast between ed tech, that is techie widgets, games, all that, that's great. Doesn't suit everybody. I've got 3 kids. One of them will like it, one of them will hate it, one of them will throw it literally out the window. So there is such a human element to this, and that making it bespoke to place and allowing individual schools to have ownership of and to be upskilled in coming onto this online world. We have become experts in this field of engaging kids online and teaching in this different way. So part of hybrid school, and where we saw demand in this area, has come from the needs of individual schools in the UK, special needs schools, but also overseas, who want to still have their heart, their ethos, their community, their brand, their everything, but they need us to help them to create that. And that's a little bit in a nutshell of what hybrid school is.
And I think, well done. Yes.
Yeah. Did I get that right? Did I communicate the words?
You can do it.
Just give me 2 seconds while I just go on mute and just yell out the back window.
You yell, because I can hear Juliet. I can hear Juliet. She's going to go and tell Juliet, stop roaring like a lion. She's a lioness. Stop roaring. I think with hybrid, she'll be back in a minute. With hybrid, what we found is, by this kind of package that we've put together, is the ability to use our tech stack, which is what we're going out for investment for. We are about to start an investment drive. Kirstin and I have never been through this before. We've had, I've been a marketing consultant for forever and had different businesses, but it's all been bootstrapped. And how did
right?
Yeah, we did it. It's all been bootstrapped. So we want to go out and look for investment to complement the revenue that's coming through from the schools that we're working with, because when we say we're feeding our children and putting the lights on, like, it's us. Hi, nice to meet you. This is the 2 of us. This is what we do. We have an amazing support team around us, an amazing team of associates who are teachers, all who are SEN qualified. And what Kirstin won't tell you is that she's been asked by Cambridge to actually write a course on how to teach people to teach online. That's how well established Kirstin's experience is in understanding what's required to engage kids between the age of 5 and 18 online, because Cambridge asked her to teach other people how to do it. So that's where hybrids come from. So now I think we can we share our exciting news 24 minutes in?
Well, yes, I think it is quite exciting that we have got a last late minute entry onto which I'm rolling onto the IBM and Village Capital Accelerator Program for 2022, which is wonderful for me, actually. Like, historically, IBM has been a part of my, I don't know, like my upbringing. My parents worked at IBM for their whole careers.
My mum used to work for IBM. We didn't know this.
I didn't know that either.
We didn't know that.
Well, IBM was really quite fundamental in my family being able to move out of South Africa. I was born in Johannesburg, had a very, very privileged start to my life in one of the best schools in South Africa. And Desmond Tutu was our governor there, and just really valued education. But also, when political situation was not so great and opportunities were better overseas, it was my parents' jobs with IBM that allowed us to experience other parts of the world, and we moved to the UK. And I think just that, even from a young age, recognizing the value and importance of global connections, of being able to have, for me then it was the IBM global family that allows you to see and experience other cultures and parts of the world, that it's sort of nicely followed up with this, that having access to the IBM cloud, one of the safest cloud platforms in the world, and just that security of, even now in this digital age of online learning, the most important thing is still children's safety online and the safety of their data online. And we are collecting some awesomely cool analytics on how learning is happening, and we can really make visible what's working. So this isn't just by chance. We are studying this. We've had inquiries from universities who want to do action research into proving that this can be a better way of learning, not just for kids' well-being, but just accidentally we might get better grades as well. And keeping that data really safe is really important. So having access to IBM mentors and business professionals and investor relations is quite exciting. So we're very proud and happy to be part of it.
We are very proud and happy. And I think, this opens the door to loads more interesting conversations. We talked a few weeks ago about, we've both got smartwatches. On your watch, you can see loads of different apps. You can see your steps, you can see music, you can see emails, WhatsApp, whatever it might be. Imagine, as a parent, being able to see the development of your child's education and how the learning is being embedded through your watch. And I think the dashboard that you've pulled together for some of the students that Gaia Learning are supporting and working with gives such beautiful insight into, down to the detail of, there's one thing, how many hours they've done, how many hours they've done independently, but where they're looking on screen, how much time they've spent on screen, off screen, how many steps they've done with the pedometer that the team send to them. Like, there's so many interesting things that builds a really rounded, holistic picture of the child, the student's well-being and learning, which for me fits beautifully with you in mind in the mental health platform, with the whole sense of community. And this is where I think it's next year is going to be, or the rest of this year with the IBM thing just kicking off, is going to be a really exciting year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is almost like back to that COVID and parent guilt. I have a lot of it, that I'm just not doing enough to just support them and give them the best that they deserve, and also, working and all that. So to be able to, at the end of the day, know not just that what studies they've done, but holistically, have they had a good experience in the day, in the week. And it's not just about the knowledge. really fundamentally believe that it's not just the what they're learning, but are we teaching them how to learn, how to take care of themselves, how to get a good night's rest, and the skills are more important of their resilience to keep going every time they don't get something right, and how are they communicating, is that improving? And we even crudely at the moment track things like their improvements in verbal communication, but we've started to add plugins to look at the semantics of what the words they're using and the vocabulary and how that's improving as well. And all of this has the advantage of freeing the teacher up, the subject expert, the enthusiast for whatever topic is being supported, to do the best that they can do as well. I think that's where I've come back to. I've created the school for me too, because I love teaching. I mean, I was up at 5 o'clock this morning teaching, and I will not teach at that time because it is the best way to start my day. I love it. I'm working with kids on the platform. I'm, getting their feedback. It's literally being kind of all put together like that.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, because I know that you will work and I will WhatsApp you about 7:30 in the morning when I'm getting up with the kids and the dogs. And you'll be like, just on my way out for a run between classes. And I look at you and I go, my beautiful friend, these are some ways in which we are different. Whereas I can stay up till midnight, 2 in the morning, and we'll be tagging you in Google Docs and looking at our data. And then you're like, I'm up at 5. So our working days.
But it says exactly what so the platform that hosts our content is called flexischool.io, and the vision for that really is that why do none of us fit in that box, 9 till 3, and everybody has to do the same thing, same subject, same time, same pace. If we were free to learn and work and do and experience our lives when it is that our body clocks work like that. Some of the vulnerable kids we work with here in the UK, we start their lessons at 11 a.m. because quite honestly, that's when they wake up. And if we schedule them earlier, they don't attend. So why fight it? We are a global group of educators and we can fit with that. I also love working at 5 o'clock in the morning because it means that I've done 2 hours of work before my kids have even got up. So I can have breakfast with them and I can have my mummy moments of time and connection with them, and still earn money and still hopefully still working on the balance. But that's the goal. And this is how we work, isn't it? In real life, when I met you and put out that ad for a marketing specialist, I think I called it, we don't do jobs from 9 to 5 like we did before. I know you have 5 jobs at the moment of different industries, different clients. So don't talk to me about running at 5. That's employers are going to be more interested in the kind of learner they want to attract to that kind of role. And if we've got on our platform the creation of a living, breathing, evergreen digital CV that is tracking skills as well as knowledge, that is what is going to be valuable to the work. I don't want to say the workforce, but again, it comes back to that point of why do we even educate in the first place? And it's for us, or I believe that it's to love learning and to not be put off it. So we want to continue to do it for our whole lives, I think.
Right. On that subject, I'm not going to let you go on about that anymore because I'm waving my finger, Kirstin, because I think we should do this again. I think we should do this again because, to be honest, it's nice to not be in our pajamas when we're talking. It's nice to.
Well, I am from the bottom up. You just can't see.
I've got my joggers on. But I think we should do this again and talk about the future of learning and into the workplace, because something you just said is you said the words, the kind of learner that the employees want. And I don't even think employees know they want learners. What they want is people to do jobs. Actually, what you may need is somebody who's continually learning. Like, I don't know how you did that clever little logo thing there on your StreamYard. This is my tool. I set this tool up. You've learned how to do that very quickly. So I think we should do something on the types of learners and the future of learning into the workplace and all that sort of stuff over another.
I do think, we should. And because we're on a journey away from, maybe exams are here to stay, but they're certainly going to be changed, and they are going to take on a new form, probably sooner rather than later. We'll see what Rishi's got up his sleeve for the future of GCSEs and A-levels in the UK. But it for employers, it doesn't help to see a transcript of grades necessarily. And how did you get that? Were you tutored? Did you have more opportunities than others? Did you cram it? Whereas if you can see learning over a longer period of time, it can be more valuable to what a business really needs.
We're going to do that next time.
Okay, and I'll stop talking about that now.
We're going to let people come back for that chat at 35.5 minutes in.
Okay.
So what's next on our IBM accelerator program? Have you got another meeting? I want to join a meeting. I want to sit in front. You've sent me a couple of cheeky pictures of the group, and it looks brilliant. And I know you've done some pitching, haven't you, this week?
Well, it's so good to be able to have experts who really can help to craft the right kind of pitch and business plan and just help us very strategically. Right now, Gaia Learning is our B2C, Hybrid is our B2B, and it will also be where we hope to raise our first round of pre-seed capital into developing that platform of our own with all of these secret ideas that we have.
I didn't know what you were doing, and I was like, don't.
No, I was like, no. And in the meantime, I still have one more meeting that I need to go to, because we are also a climate action school. And that's another thing about building our school in our pocket. We have an app. We have a browser-based school and an ecosystem. So back to that, very fundamentally, the opportunity to bring together partnerships and different, as you said, we have a lot of wonderful connections in our community. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are people doing wonderful things in different places, but what we have is a platform to bring human people together, because it's the humans that you still want to entrust with your children's education. And that, and also the climate change piece of we have a lot of challenges with energy and affording physical school buildings. And again, kids have got a lot of ideas on how to solve these problems. So being part of this climate action school community and bringing other schools together and seeing what other kinds of schools are doing, IB schools, Cambridge schools, homeschooling communities, just different types of schools and ideas together. It's a very exciting place to be in education where we are now.
Well, and we're leading it. You are.
Yeah.
So right, go to your climate action school. I mean, I know that I'm going to get a WhatsApp from everybody in about an hour that's going to go, whoop, 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 these are exciting things that we're doing. This is what the exciting stuff we're looking at. So we're going to do this again. I'm going to force us to do it again. And we're going to talk about types of learners and learners into the workplace and what that looks like. And I think some really good examples of what we're doing with the vulnerable students we're working with in the UK. I can think of some examples would be good to share. And then maybe at even another date, I might start a series.
All right. You got me here for the first one, and then you couldn't shut me up. But
Right, let's let everybody get on with the rest of their evening. And please check us out, GaiaLearning.co.uk and hybridschool.io. And via Gaia, never said that before, you can reach a Flexi School, which is where it's got all of our course content, perfect for homeschooling programs. You can download the course content and learn it at your leisure, with British qualified SEND tutors helping you, marking your work when you need it. I should have written that down, shouldn't I?
It's all right. It's on record.
Record!
Transcribe it afterwards.
Right, my love, I'll see you later. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you very soon.
Bye.
Bye.